Okay, so use case 3. See, it's called Quickly Analyze Cloud Security Policies. This one we're going to walk through a video demonstration because it's pretty important to be able to discuss with our customers how we can take a look at things that are coming through the Cloud Security Framework umbrella and identify and show how our policies are taking effect. As you see here, this graphic, which you've seen a few times before if you looked at these use cases, I've highlighted a few things that are going to be the crux of what we'll look at here. So you see the DNS security, Layer 7 firewall, SWG, the remote browser isolation, DLP. Those are highlighted because, of course, that's what we're going to talk about in this particular demonstration. But the interesting point to note, and really the message that we need to be able to take forward with this, is we're going to show how all these policies can be seen, looked at how they're working and in effect, and all through the single dashboard within Umbrella. And so this, of course, is around the vein of reducing costs, right? The SecOps group taking a look at managing this stuff. One place to go simplifies their day, simplifies how they have to do their job. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and move over to dCloud. Still in dCloud, obviously. I've got a couple of tabs open here, and we are going to start with the remote workstation. The remote workstation's got a connection to Umbrella, obviously, and there is a DNS policy in place for the remote workstation. So let's go ahead and generate some traffic. Obviously, I want to get that done so that we can see what's happening in Umbrella. So I'll start with a couple of the DNS things in place. So by default, the DNS policy, if you look through it, you remember what's created. Basically, it's going to look to get rid of places like malicious, anti-malware locations, anti-phishing sites, AV testing. So if I generate some traffic to some of these things, you can see Umbrella providing that example of it being blocked because of certain reasons. And so I'm just doing this to generate a little traffic so that we can show it under Umbrella. Also in our DNS policy, we put in a high restrictive list, which basically eliminates things like gambling and adult sites and whatnot. So we'll just go to gambling. Let's generate something there as well. All right, you can see it being restricted because of gambling. So I've generated a few traffic that would trigger the DNS policy. All right, so here at Branch 2 Workstation, the workstations behind the branches have a web policy in place, so we'll start with that. Let's generate some traffic here. We'll go to gambling.com/news. That's one of our sites being blocked. Let's see if we can kick off an isolated site. YouTube should be isolated. Okay, and yep, we're isolated here. Let's try one other. We'll do a scholarworks.sjsu.edu. Should also be isolated. Okay, good. All right, so let's go ahead and move on then. And we're going to also get credit card numbers. We're going to check out the DLP rules, generate some traffic there as well. So let's copy some credit card numbers here. Grab these Visa one. And let's go to paste bin. And let's create a paste of the credit cards. Come on. Let's try to copy those again. Okay. Create a new paste. That'll happen, it just generates a warning. That's fine. Let's go to a new paste. And we'll generate one for a deny. I think it's internal only. Yeah, so we get it blocked by DLP. Okay, so that's the web policy. We've also generated a firewall rule. So let's open up, and our firewall policy is basically blocking pings to 8.8.8.8. We'll generate some firewall stuff. All right, should be good enough here. Okay, so with that now, we're going to pop over to, I'm going to pop over to the jumper station. And with the jumper station, then we're going to go into Umbrella, and we're going to see what we can see from all the activity that we just generated here. Okay, so let's head over to, we're an umbrella already. If you weren't an umbrella, so what we do here, we just go to this page here and launch the umbrella here. And once we're an umbrella, we're going to go to reporting and we're going to look at the activity search. So here's a list of all the things happening. So really this is the gist of the demos, just to show how we have all this information correlated here into one location to find out what's going on. If I want to look at things that happen on the blocked side, I can ask to look at all the blocked activities. And you can see the things we just generated here. For instance, the request, the firewall was blocked here. This is that ping that we did to the 8.8.8.8 site, excuse me. Let me go back up. Didn't mean to do that. Okay, we actually have additional information. We can look at the full details here by pulling this in. You can see it was blocked by a rule that was created. You can see it was from a branch site here, and then we get information about being an ICMP block to that. You also see in here we have information about web policies being blocked. Right, there's that paste bin web policy. What does this say here? Why is it being blocked? Well, let's take a look at the full details. The full details are telling us the ZTW branch's web policy. What was it doing? It's basically blocking the action here. We can see the activity of being blocked on the DLP rule here, that DLP thing we saw. Sorry, that was at the top of the screen. So we see that in here listed as web. We have those gambling things showing up here earlier. The remote workstation, we see the DNS policies we created. Right, there's that DNS policy about gambling.com or some of these anti-malware sites. If I take a look at this particular one, full details of this, what do we see? We see it's being blocked because of it's about malware category, right? So we get those details here all in one page. If I wanted to look at what happened on my isolated side, right, I can just check that box and I can pull information in about what was being isolated. There's those sites we were looking at earlier that we know were part of that isolation. So we can see all of that here. So you can see there's details that we can pull down very quickly about what's really happened in the environment and all the activities happening, so we can see that in a quick glance in order to identify how the network is actually behaving right here.